And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. We are back after a 2-week break, and I could not be more excited to welcome today, live from the UK, bestselling author Ruth Mancini, here to give us the inside scoop on her latest book, The Day I Lost You, which is out tomorrow in the US. Ruth, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Okay, so The Day I Lost You tells the story of two women who both claim to be the mother of one little boy. One of them, of course, is lying, but the rug will be pulled out from underneath you when you discover who and why.
I can attest that that is true. The rug was pulled out from me, Mancini style. We're going to call that Mancini style. And I have so many questions, and some questions were submitted in advance that we will be getting to as well. But first, I just want to welcome everyone because we are broadcasting live to 7 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube. So, hey, mystery and thriller lovers, no matter where you're watching from, you are in the right place. This is the right time. It is Mystery Monday because Mondays can be murder. We are going to get your week off to a killer start and make Mondays a little less painful for you. If you've been here before, you know the drill. And if you're new, welcome, friends. Here's the drill. Every Monday, I give you my handpicked featured authors, and you get to ask them anything. So ask the incredible bestselling author Ruth Mancini about this book, about those crazy twists, about her career as a lawyer, barrister, I think they say.
It's a solicitor, actually. Solicitor in the UK. Yeah, two different things.
Thank you for that. Anything you want to know about Ruth, get those questions going in the comments. Let's jump right in. Robin is joining us from Facebook. She says, yay, you're back. Robin, I'm back. And I missed you guys. I missed you. So glad to be here. Renee is joining us from Southeast Florida. She says, hi, Sarah and Ruth. Hi, Renee. Welcome back. So good to see you. And Charlie, welcome to that sweet face. John is joining us from YouTube. He says, greetings from Northeast Ohio. Hi, John. Welcome to the conversation. So good to see you. Welcome back. We're back after a holiday break. Sharon is joining us from YouTube saying, hi, Sarah and Ruth. So nice to see you. So good to see you, Sharon. Welcome back. I missed you guys. Robin says, hello, all from just starting to snow. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, where I've heard they get into good trouble. And I could do a little snow flaring over here. We missed you guys. Okay, let's dive in. So Ruth, tell us about first I want to know about your daily writing process, and then I want to get to the twist. So clearly that's a 2-part question, but let's start with your writing process. Give us the inside scoop. If we were all a fly on the wall of Ruth Mancini's office, what would we see?
So you would see me sitting at my desk, which is in my home office in the garden, which is that way. I'm in the kitchen at the moment in my house, but I have to have a little commute out to my home office, which my husband built for me in the garden. And I would be sitting at my desk in there with my 2 monitors. I always work with 2 screens. I plug my laptop in the morning, and I have my step plan. So I'm very much a plotter. You probably will talk about that, I imagine, because everyone asks that question, are you a plotter or not? But yes, I am. And I have my step plan, as I call it, which is, my outline, but in fairly good detail on my left. And I have my work in progress on my right.
Okay, so many questions. But first, I have more questions, but I want to get right into the audience questions. Renee wants to know, do you mind sharing where you live? Where do you get snow there?
I've just seen the question. I live in Oxford in England, so the Oxford of the famous university. And I didn't go to university here. My husband's family are from here, so that's how I've ended up here. It's right in the centre of the UK, really. So we're kind of landlocked. There's no sea around. You have to travel about 2 hours to get to the sea from where I live, which is a shame for me because I love the sea. But that's where I am. It's a great city. And yes, we do get snow. In fact, I think it's going to get quite cold here in the next couple of weeks, and we may get some snow. But yes, we usually get some snow, usually probably in January or February are the months when it's likely to snow here.
And I'm just thinking about that that lovely commute of yours from the house to the office in your garden, or sorry, excuse me, through your garden. And Renee wants to know what do you grow in your garden? Yes, tell us.
Oh gosh, my husband's the gardener because he's sort of does all the things that I can't find time for when I'm sitting out there writing. So, but we've got some flowers in a border that's just outside my back door. It's dark here now. Otherwise, I could actually flip my my computer around and show you. But yes, it's dark out there because it's we're all ready to go to bed here. Yes, it's 8 o'clock at night here, but it's obviously the time of year in the UK. It's dark.
I know that darkness is brutal. I'm also a fellow gardener, Ruth. So you're your fellow thriller writer and gardener, and I grow flowers as well as vegetables. I grow all the herbs.
Really?
And tomatoes and lettuce and all spinach, all sorts of good stuff. So as soon as you said gardener, you had me. John, welcome to the conversation from Northeast Ohio. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Renee's been to Oxford. How fabulous. I've never been there. I lived in the UK. I went to City University, but I never went to Oxford. I need to get over there. Okay, Ruth. So you get up, you commute. You pack your briefcase for the day, your tea, your lunch. You go over to your traverse your garden to your she shed, your writer shed, and you write. And I thought I wanted to ask more about the step plan on one side. How do you do the step plan? What is that?
So my new books always start with an outline, which I will usually pitch to my editor. She doesn't want to see the detail. She just wants to know, how do I talk about this book? Give me the hook, give me the sort of couple of paragraphs. But for myself, I will have a detailed outline of what's going to happen at each stage. And then it starts to get broken down into chapter by chapter basis. It's not exactly, it's not written in stone. So one of the magic of writing is that sometimes things just happen from your subconscious that you weren't expecting to happen. And I absolutely would not stop that from happening. And certainly in all my books, that's happens, and it's fantastic when it does. But I like to have this roadmap so that I don't go wandering off into the wilderness too much, especially writing crime fiction. For me, I feel like I have to sort of, it's sort of, you've got the middle of the onion with all the layers around it. And I need to know really how I'm going to get to that bit in the middle, which is, where the twists and turns happen. So I would find it hard, I think, not to plot it out in advance. But I think there are some fabulous writers out there who say, no, I absolutely don't plot. I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to write the story once I've plotted it. It would be done for me. So, right. We're all different.
So let's talk about those twists, because wow. So I'm picturing now, because I wanted to ask you about them, because this is one twisty book, and I know so many of our mavens here love a good twist, particularly one that they did not see coming and yet is believable. So I want to talk about those twists, because it's not a spoiler. There is one baby and two mothers, both of whom claim that this child is theirs. One claims he was born in January, one claims he was born in February. They both have his passports and his documentation that this child is theirs. And I was like, whose baby is this? I have to know, because so this is not a spoiler. This is right there on the cover. So first of all, okay, I want to talk about those twists. Did you plot those twists in terms of both how you have us convinced first that it's one woman's baby, then wait, maybe it's this other woman's baby, and then of course the final mind-blowing twist. But were those in the step plan, or those evolved as you wrote?
So this book was it was
right, Renee. You are gonna be wowed. Okay.
This book started off completely differently, actually. I wrote 50,000 words, gave it to my editor and said, I was a bit behind delivery date. And she said, give me what you've written so far. And I gave her the 50,000 words. And she said, Ruth, you're writing this story the wrong way around. You need to go back and start all over again. And I was like, what? And she said, write it backwards. I think this story needs to be written backwards. So I had to start all over again. And yes, I did then plot it all out. But it was really hard, actually, writing backwards. I found it difficult to get into the heads of the characters, feeling something, feeling all these emotions about something that hadn't actually happened yet. But yeah, it worked. And I think my editor was absolutely spot on, but it was quite hard to do for me.
Would it be a spoiler to say where the original draft started?
I think it probably would, actually. It started at the end.
It literally started at the end. That final scene.
Not the final scene. It started in what is now part 5, I believe.
Okay.
So I think there are 6 parts, aren't there? And it started in part 5. And when you get to part, Sarah, because you've already read it, but part 5 was the beginning, the original beginning. And of course, it gave away completely what's at the root of it all and why this happened. So,
when I'm looking up what page it is for us US readers. So it is page 230, page 230, part 5. 5 months earlier.
Don't go there. Read it more.
No. I'm just saying. No. I'm just saying. So everyone knows when you get to page 230, part 5. Yes. All us mavens who love to have a secret inside edge, you now know that was the beginning of the book, and Ruth had to completely rewrite it so that was then part 1 is now part 5. Oh my God. How long did it take you to rewrite it? I mean, Renee is saying, yikes. Renee, that's exactly how I'm feeling. I'm the yikes emoji. That's how I'm feeling.
It did take, let me say, we didn't have much time because I really, really wanted the book to come out. In the UK, it came out in July, and I really, really didn't want to delay that. And of course, I think you have a longer lead time to publish in the US. And so Sarah Stein, my editor at Harper in the US, would have had to then push back the date for you guys. So I really, really wanted, but I rewrote it in about three or 4 months over the summer last year. In a way, I mean, it was hard, but I was able to use some of the chapters that I'd already written, quite a few of them.
But it's not that simple, is it? Because there is foreshadowing, and when you get to and there's referencing things that have already happened, and there's memories of these, because this is a multiple POV, multiple point of view story. So there's each character remembering the past, and then getting how we got to where we are. So, oh my God, because it's not just like, it isn't like you just picked up chapter 5 and dragged and dropped it to chapter 1, part 5 and put it in part 1.
Not at all.
Because it's so interwoven with because the characters they know each other, and then the foreshadowing, and then the referencing back to how we got here. Oh my God, my brain hurts. Oh my God. Okay. So so many questions. Okay. So, oh my God. Okay. So first of all, Renee, hold on, Renee. I want to get to your first question. Okay. Let's start here. Do you think you'll write another backwards in the future?
I don't think I will, Renee, because it was tough for me. I very much get into character when I write. I really feel my characters and feel their emotions. And so that was really, really tricky for me. So I don't think I would. That said, my previous book, The Woman on the Ledge, you went along in the present and then you went back into the past to find out what really happened. And I would definitely be doing that again. I think different timelines are fun, and they can make a story interesting. And obviously a lot of authors do that. So I would definitely move around timelines, but not completely sort of now we go back a bit more.
Because that alone is really tough, even without the rewriting and putting part 5, part 1, part 5. Oh my brain literally it's hurting. Oh my God. And like I said, Mavens, we want to know. And Renee's saying, you know us so well. You know I do, Renee. You know I do. We're vibing. Robin says, oh my God, Ruth, getting that response from your editor, start it again backwards. Did you throw it at the wall? Yeah. Did you throw it at the wall? Did you cry? Did you scream? Did you take a nap? Did you start day drinking? What did you do?
I nearly started day drinking. Do you know what? When I walked away from her office, I was like, yeah, this is great. In fact, her office, my publisher's office is in Victoria, and I walked back past Buckingham Palace. I remember that, and I was in a really good mood at the Queen, and well, not the Queen, the King. The King and the Queen, really, really feeling positive and excited about it. But it wasn't till I got to my desk that and started actually having a go at it that I thought, oh my goodness, what have I signed up for?
Right. At first you're like, oh my God, brilliant. This is going to be so great. And then you're like, oh crap, I'm the one that has to do this. Oh yeah. Dear God. Yeah.
I have form for saying, yes, I can do that to things. And then walking away and actually thinking, oh my God, what have I just said yes to?
What have I just said yes to? Talk about pressure is right, Renee. Oh my God. Elizabeth, welcome to the conversation. Also, talking about that stress, saying, do you like writing under that stress? My gosh.
Elizabeth, I can tell you, if you talked to any of my friends and my husband, they would all tell you that I absolutely leave things until I've got the sort of, the gun pointed at my head, and always write my best when I'm under stress. I'm terrible. I need to discipline myself to just myself from the outset, instead of, wandering into the kitchen. Oh, another cup of tea. Yeah, I've got months yet to finish this book. I need to make sure I start writing every day and being very focused instead of leaving it until I'm under stress.
It's interesting that, because I'm the same way. I'm like, I must do better. And then I'm like, ooh, a task that needs to be done that is not writing. Like,
that fridge gets cleaned quite often when I'm
exactly. I found myself buffing the stainless steel front with the with orange oil, because I was like, oh, this should be shinier. Who cares? Like, what was I doing? I was procrastinating. Like, that's what I was doing. Oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely. That's me.
Amazing. Yeah. I'm so glad.
Thank you, Renee.
Speaking of that, it will be out in the US tomorrow, and you can pre-order now from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore. That is, of course, Murder by the Book. And whether you're watching with us on Facebook or YouTube, you can grab your copy. Right. Oh my goodness, I got too excited. I dropped the book. You can order your copy from this link, and the good folks at Murder by the Book will ship it out to you first thing tomorrow morning. So while you are pre-ordering from this link, oh, thanks for all the hearts, you guys. Thanks for all the hearts and love. So appreciate you. While you are pre-ordering, I want to share a few words of praise. So first, I want to kick off with Publishers Weekly, and I'm going to pop this up so that we can all read it together. And they say, Mancini's twisty and twisted tale unspools in a pinwheeling narrative. Thanks for all the hearts, you guys. Catapulting to an undeniably gratifying finale. Readers will race through this. And PW is not the only one raving. Booklist also weighing in with a rave review. I'm going to pop this one up as well. And they are saying, this is a nice long one, so I'm going to pop it up just briefly. But it says, with multiple and mostly unreliable narrators and a story told in reverse, this is a unique mystery. Readers may think they know what's going on, but Mancini, author of Woman on the Ledge 2024, will introduce a twist at just the right moment, making readers question everything they've read so far. The decision to start the story at the end, which we now, mavens know, is clever. Mystery fans will enjoy this twisty thriller. So the reason I wanted to talk about this is first because of that reference to what we now know was not your original vision for the book, but also I wanted to talk about unreliable narrators, because I wanted to ask how your career, your prior career as a solicitor, impacted that. And the reason I want to ask is my husband is a lawyer, and he is the one, and I'm always like, I have a great memory, knock on wood. I'm like, remember that time in 2015 where we had this argument and I was right, which is always how my memory is.
I'm like that too, so I'm absolutely.
Oh my God. I'm a freaking elephant, Ruth. I never forget. But my husband is the one who said, actually, human memories are really unreliable. And
Yes.
and you see that most often in court. So when you will ask different people to recount the same event, they will vary wildly. So I wanted to ask you about your interest in unreliable narrators, and if you drew that from your career as a solicitor or someone else. Give us the inside scoop.
No, absolutely, I did. I think we touched briefly on this. The difference between solicitors and barristers in this country. We're both lawyers. I'm a criminal defense lawyer.
So tell us the difference.
Yeah. So because this brings me on to what to your question that you've just asked. So barristers just advocate in court. So they are in the courtroom. And a lot of writers who are barristers will write courtroom dramas because that's their stage, that's their platform. Solicitors in the UK are the ones who pick up the case from beginning at the police station when someone gets arrested, and that is my favorite stage. I've been representing people in police stations for 25 years. We do then take the case, we litigate, we prepare it all, we prepare the trial, and sometimes we hand it to a barrister, but sometimes we conduct the advocacy ourselves because we can do both. So the difference between us and barristers is that barristers don't represent people in the police station. And I find the police station stage absolutely fascinating. I mean, it's basically like your police procedural where you've got the police, the police are doing the investigating and you're telling your story. My lawyer character, Sarah Kellerman, who comes into The Day I Lost You, but comes into my other books even more, is the one who goes to the police station. She's very much based on me and represents somebody who's just been arrested, gets a bit of disclosure from the police. This is what we're saying happened. Somebody's been murdered. And then my job in real life, and Sarah Kellerman's job in my stories, is to sit down and say, okay, tell me your side of it. What happened? And, obviously, especially in the police station, but probably in court too, but especially in the police station, because that's when they first put forward their account or their defence, what's going to turn into their defence. They are under a lot of pressure. The police are about to interview them. They might be protecting somebody. They might not have committed the crime, but they don't want to talk because if they do talk, they're implicating somebody else. They might not be very good at expressing themselves, or they might just be lying to me. And that is in exactly the situation that made me think this is a great twist. This is a great sort of turn on the unreliable narrator theme. So I used it for the first time in The Woman on the Ledge, and I really felt that it was a new take on that. So absolutely, I do.
Because it's interesting, isn't it? Because when you hear the term unreliable narrator, you immediately think this person is a liar. This person is being duplicitous intentionally. They're a liar. They're a scammer. They're a cheater. They're hiding something. They're guilty. Until we start to think about it a little more. And why might that be? Are they protecting someone? Are they scared? Are they underserved? Do they feel in danger? I mean, this is fascinating. Okay. Oh my God. We have so many questions. They're pouring in. We're going to get to all of them. Ruth, do you go to the police station at all hours of the day and night?
I used to. I'm in a very fortunate position now to write mostly full-time. I do a little bit of legal work, a little bit of reviewing trial files, looking at people's trials and making sure that they're doing everything they should for that client is sort of what I do now, mostly on the side. Still go to the police station a bit, but I used to go out in the middle of the night all the time. I did it when I had young children. It's a killer, actually. It really, really sort of messes with your metabolism. And quite often, we'd have to go to the police station in the middle of the night, and then, might have only had 2-3 hours sleep, and then you'd have to go and represent that person in court in the morning. or somebody else. So yeah, it's a tough old job. But I really enjoyed it for a long, long time. And although I would moan about getting out of bed in the middle of the night, once you're there, the adrenaline starts to flow, because it's a real cat and mouse situation, actually, with the police only telling you what they want you to know, drip feeding you the disclosure, and then you've got your client sort of maybe not telling you everything too, and you're sitting there, and it's my job to have to work out, right, who's telling the truth here? Are the police lying to me, which they do? Is my client lying to me? What's the real situation here, and how do I advise in the best way? Because that moment in the police station is going to be pivotal for that person in court later on. A jury can ask themselves, well, why didn't you talk in the police station, or why did you say that in the police station? And now you're saying something different. So it's a very crucial stage, and often you're advising them when you've had 1 hour's sleep, or no sleep.
Right, because we're very quick to judge people who change the story, and very quick to dismiss them. Oh my God. Okay. Oh, follow-up question. How do you tell if a person is lying to you? And then we're going to get to you, Elizabeth.
Yeah, often you can't. I think what my job is to do is to say, because I wasn't there, so I don't know what actually happened. And sometimes people might not be very good at telling you. I mean, I'm not explaining this very well now. So do you see what I mean? When you're on the spot, you might not be very good at giving your account. Some people are better on the spot than others are, in stressful situations as well, because you're in a little room in the police station. But the upshot is that usually I take at face value what they tell me, unless it really doesn't stack up with the evidence. And I think about whether, if I let them go into the interview and say what they've just said to me, is it going to stand up to scrutiny in a courtroom and to the police? If what they're saying makes perfect sense, and they've got a defense, and no, I didn't do it, and this is what actually happened, and it seems to fit with the evidence that I've had disclosed to me, I've got to then decide, do I let them go in and talk? But you see, what the police might do then is drop another bomb on you, and actually we've got a witness who says you weren't there, and you've just told me you were, and whatever. So it's a really tricky one, but yeah, I have to take what they tell me at face value, really. And sometimes you can tell they're not telling the truth because the evidence just doesn't fit. But most of the time I will just, this is what they say, this is what you're telling me, try and make sense of it, really.
Elizabeth would like to know, what sort of cases do you mean, Ruth? Drunk drivers, or kidnapping, or ... question mark?
Everything. I've dealt as a duty solicitor. You get called, you're on a rota, so it's like a duty doctor. If I happen to be on call that night, whoever gets arrested says, oh yeah, I haven't got a solicitor, get me the duty solicitor. So I think it's your public defender in your country. But here, we have duty solicitors who do private work and do public work too. I get called to the police station, and I can get anything from 13-year-old kids throwing sweets at each other in the playground and then punching the other one on the nose or something, right through to a murder or a kidnapping or anything. You don't know what you're going to get. So yeah, everything.
So a duty solicitor is, I am now understanding, a public defender here in the U.S.
Yes, essentially, yes.
I am interested in learning that the character of Sara Kellerman is based on yourself, Ruth.
She is.
Now, obviously, because you chose to name this amazing character, Sara, we're going to give you 10 points, because clearly you are a person who appreciates great names. Now, unfortunately, you put an H on the end of that name, but that's okay.
I'm sorry, Sara. I didn't know you then.
we're gonna move past that, because Sara Kellerman is such a great character. And I was going to ask you which of these two women, the two mothers, is more like you, but now you've answered that actually it's Sara who's the most like you.
It's Sara who's the most what? Sorry.
Like you.
Like me, yes, absolutely. I think there's a little bit of me in all of my characters. So there's a bit of me in Hope, a lot of me in Hope, I would say.
In what way?
And some of me in, Hope's a therapist, isn't she, in the story?
Yes.
My mum's a therapist. So that's where I got a lot of the sort of psychology from. I'm very interested in it. As a writer, I'm very interested in what makes people tick. So me and my mum have some great conversations. So Hope was very much drawn from stuff my mum said to me. And, I'd say to her, oh, why do people do this? And she'll tell me, oh, it's because of this. So, I've drawn hope from her. And also I'm quite a positive person. Hope's a bit of a sort of optimist, isn't she, in the story? Probably a little bit too much. But she's definitely the sort of person who will make lemonade from lemons. Lauren's slightly different. There's a bit of me in Lauren, but yeah, I'd say I align more with Hope. But the character, you're absolutely right, that is most really drawn from my own experiences is the lawyer, Sarah Kellerman. And she comes into all my stories, she's a recurring character. So every story I write, there's a crime, and Sarah comes in and solves it, essentially.
Ruth, follow-up question to what you were saying about about going into the police station. Renee wanted to clarify who believes the police. You were saying when you're getting your client, you get called, you get down there, they're telling you one thing.
Yeah.
Can we speak about this part, the who believes the police?
So do you mean why would anyone believe the police, or is that what you're asking?
Could you clarify that, Renee, so we can just make sure we're understanding you under that and understanding you deeply? And also, while you are clarifying that, Renee, I want to talk about this review from Jenny Godfrey, who is the Sunday Times bestselling author of The List of Suspicious Things, which is just such a fabulous title. Yeah. She calls the book I'm going to pop it up so we can all read it, a clever, compelling, roller coaster of a ride, never letting up until its final resolution, the kind of novel that will have you thinking about the moral and ethical implications of a crime long after you've finished. Ruth Mancini is a British Jodi Picoult. I wanted to talk about that, the ethical implications, because when two women are both claiming this child, and as we get into the backstory, we start to understand more about these women. At first, I was thinking about some of the cases that we've seen, and I don't want to say which they are because it would be a spoiler, but we have some cases over here in the US where I was like, oh my God, is this baby so-and-so? Is this that case? What moral and ethical questions were you wrestling through? Are you thinking about motherhood? Are you thinking about redemption? Are you thinking about justice when a person has been wronged, when a person has been hurt? Yes. Maybe by someone that they love, maybe by someone that they don't know. How do you even out a score that is not really evenable when someone has suffered a great loss? What were you wrestling through, Ruth?
I think redemption is the answer to that. But this story was very much inspired by a real life case I dealt with. Obviously, I can't talk about that case, but yes, it was. Yeah, very much.
Mavens, so. You heard it here first. You heard it here first, Mavens.
Yes. I haven't mentioned that anywhere in the book itself, but it is based on a real life case. So I represented somebody probably about 10-15 years ago, and it was somebody who did something very wrong, and they went to prison, and I couldn't forget that case because the person had done something wrong, but they weren't a bad person, and it had just been something in the heat of the moment, a split-second decision that had been made that changed everybody's lives forever. And I just never was able to really feel good about the fact that the person went to prison for what they did, because there just weren't any winners in this situation. So I suppose I was probably trying to process really how I felt about it all. And I think the upshot is what I wanted to show is that a lot of people think, I've had people say to me, how can you represent horrible people, criminals? And what I wanted to show is that in the wrong situation, in the wrong circumstances, none of us can really predict the way that we're going to react. And that's very much the case, isn't it, Sarah? In The Day I Lost You, all of these characters are people who are put in a stressful situation and behave in a way that they perhaps wouldn't have done otherwise. It's all about emotions, about loss, about grief, and about people behaving the way they have just because of the set of circumstances that's hit them at the time. And I suppose that's what I wanted to show really, is that all the people I represent are human beings. Some of them, you know, there are a minority, I would say, that probably are psychopathic, and probably I don't know if I believe in evil. I think I believe in nature, nurture, and people going wrong. But I think the majority, I can honestly say that probably the majority of people I represent, I find something to like about them, and I'm able to see them as a human being who's done something wrong rather than a terrible, horrible person. And I wanted to get that across, I think, in the story.
I was so excited to ask you this question because I was like, there's a lot of there's a meaty ethical tangled web here that we need to really think about. And I think I always think about when I'm writing, people are so quick to jump on the internet or jump on social media and be like, that person's awful, that person's terrible. I would never do that. That's my favorite. I would never do that.
No.
And I think it's like, and I always say when I'm talking about, because I write true crime, and I always say, let's sit down and let's really take a moment. Let's take a deep breath. And let's think about what the broader picture of this person's life is. And then I want you to really imagine that. And now I want you to tell me, are you sure?
Are you sure? Yes, absolutely.
Because, and I'm not so sure if we really take a moment to think about it.
Yeah. And I think the book asks that question, doesn't it, really? Are you sure if you were in this situation that you might not have behaved the same way? Yeah.
Are you sure? Exactly. Yeah. I love that. Oh my God. Are you sure you would not have behaved the same way? Oh my God. Because I think the other thing that you said is really interesting. And I know we're over time, but I just have to mention this. In the US, we have an incarceration problem. We have a crime problem. We have the largest incarceration problem that is so far out of alignment with the rest of the world, any other developed nation. And
is it? We have a problem here too, but I don't know how it compares to yours.
But what's really interesting,
overcrowding in the prisons.
Of course. Oh yeah, overcrowding, making prisons for profit. I mean, there's a lot here. But anyway, what's really interesting is that 2% of the U.S. population has psychopathy, which are psychopaths.
Yeah.
But 85% of the incarcerated population are psychopaths, have psychopathy, which means that their brains lack the mirror neurons to experience empathy, as well as other issues. And so I really loved what you said about a few minutes ago, where you said, all of the people that I represent are human beings. And the majority of the people I represent, I have found something that I like about. And I think the other thing that people don't understand is when they say, how could you defend a guilty person? How could you defend this horrible person, this rapist? We have to remember, if we did not provide legal, because of course the US legal system is entirely derived from the UK system.
Yes.
If we did not offer all people the right to legal representation and a fair trial by a jury of their peers, we would be like Russia, where as soon as you're assessed here, you're presumed innocent until you're proven guilty. In Russia, you are presumed guilty until you're proven innocent. So you have to give your testimony, be in a box, in a little cell in the courtroom behind bars, which of course is prejudicing the jury to think that this person is guilty because they're speaking to you from behind bars.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
If we don't give everyone a fair trial, how can we give anyone a fair trial?
And you know what? I always say that it's in the victim's interests too that they get a fair trial, because otherwise, how do you know you've got the right person? How do you know?
And a lot of times we don't have the right person.
He could still be out there hurting other people.
Robin, I love this. Hypothetically, we have an opinion on how we think we would behave. We don't really know until we're in the situation.
Yeah.
Exactly. And everyone's saying that's so well written. This is beautifully said. All right. We are horribly over time, but we could just talk to you all day because there's so much here. We didn't even get to talk about all of the amazing reviews that you got. Lisa Jewell, weighing in on the woman on the ledge.
Yeah,
I've put all of these in the comments so you can peruse them at your leisure. But I did just want to remind everyone that Ruth is coming on to give us the exclusive inside sneak peek. And don't forget about those 2 gems that she dropped. When you only hear it here, my mavens, you only hear it here. So don't forget to pre-order from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore. That is, of course, Murder by the Book. So click and pre-order. And Ruth Mancini, you better come back and talk to us for your next book.
I will. I'd love to. I'd absolutely love to. And can I just say, I absolutely love America. And so hearing that you're all from Idaho and all these places just makes me feel like I'm maybe traveling there a little bit, sort of vicariously on the screen. But I just love your country so much.
Oh, how lovely. Thank you, Ruth and Sarah. Renee saying thank you both for being here. Oh my gosh. And we have Canadian viewers as well. We have people watching. Sharon is in Massachusetts. Oh my God. We have people at Portland, Oregon. Everyone's saying we're, oh my God, we have people from literally all over the US and Canada. So everyone who commented and everyone who's watching and lurking, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope your week is off to a killer start. I'll be back tonight at 7 p.m. with Todd Goldberg. Tune in there. Ruth Mancini, happy Pub Day. And thank you all for joining us.
Thank you so much for hosting me, Sarah. And lovely to talk to you all. Bye.